lessen their cuteness, I think.
Today, reptile expert and totally wild regular, Tanya Carter, is showing off one of her favourite lizard families.
Well, a really well-known family in Australia is the dragon family, and there's about 70 different species in that family, so it's pretty big.
Now, Tanya, they're all related. Do they have any similarities or typical characteristics?
Look, there are a few things, and one of the most obvious is their eyesight, and they can see for a long way, at least 50 metres, probably more than 500. Also, the dragons, it is a family of lizards that are all egg layers. Well, females are anyway.
Like many families, the relatives of the dragon clan live in different parts of the country. Okay, what parts of the country have the dragons taken up residency?
Pretty much all over. So we find the dragon lizards in the desert, in the dry forest, in the rainforest, most of them in the desert, and then you find the next would be in the dry forest, then the rainforest, and there's one species of dragon that lives in Tasmania.
It's too cold down there.
Oh, I think so too. Oh, yes.
You'd recognise this neck anywhere. When you think Aussie reptiles, I bet the frillneck lizard pops into your head. The frillneck lizard is a part of the dragon family. What type of environment do they prefer?
Look, we find them in the dry forest. Lots of eucalypt trees, that's where they love to be.
And what sets them apart from other dragon species?
You can't get past that beautiful frill. And you know, everyone thinks that the frillneck's kind of a really, strong, tough lizard because they've got this big frill, but they actually use their frill more to regulate the temperature of their body. It's really important for that. So, first thing in the morning when it's a bit cool, they'll sit out in the sun, open the frill, and it's got like all these little blood vessels, so heaps of blood. That warms up and then warms their body. And then on a really hot day, they go up high in the trees, find a little breeze, open the frill, and as the breeze blows on the frill, it cools them. So that's a really important part of their frill.
The military dragon is representing the desert dwellers. Whereabouts in Australia are these guys found?
We find them from Western Australia, the Northern Territory, through to Western Queensland in that lovely red centre, the really, really hot part.
And what sets them apart from their other cousins?
I think some of the things is their colour. I mean, for them to camouflage, they have these vibrant oranges and reds. And also, one of the interesting things is they tend not to go up at all. Rather than, finding a little termite mound, climbing up, having a look around, seeing what's happening, they stay on the ground. And if they see any danger coming, they are like greased lightning. They just zip right into the spinifex and that's it, they're gone and they're safe.
This striking reptile is a resident of tropical coastal rainforests and tablelands. Okay, hit us with an impressive and cool fact about this species.
Okay, I've got one. The Boyd's rainforest dragons do not thermoregulate, which means they do not go out and sit in the sun to warm themselves. They just rely on the ambient temperature around them.
And I guess coming from rainforest areas, they're always in hot climates?
Where they live in far north Queensland is always nice and warm. They get a wet season and a dry season. They don't get a hot season and a cold season.
And what about their running abilities? Like the military dragon, they're really fast. What about this species?
I have to say, I would describe the Boyds as kind of like the couch potato of the lizard world. They try not to have to do much at all. Sit on their branch, pretty happy with life. A little ant or two will come up and they'll eat that. It'll rain, they'll have a drink. So life's pretty cruisy.
Now, Tanya, you are obviously passionate about not just dragons, about all lizards, but do you have a favourite dragon species?
Look, I'd have to say no. It's kind of like having the kids. Everyone's different and special, and I love them all. But, there's a really interesting fact. In the dragon family, the mother doesn't have to look after her children. They look after themselves.
So they're on their own.
Absolutely.